Hello everyone and welcome back to the Calvin Tobin Show. I am your host, Calvin Tobin. Today we have a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. All right. Over the past few days in the NHL, we have seen a few different achievements set in stone. And first of those achievements is that we have seen 4 different teams clinch a playoff spot, and 3 of those teams have come from the Metropolitan Division, and those teams are the Carolina Hurricanes, the New Jersey Devils, and the New York Rangers. The other team is coming from the Atlantic Division, and they are the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they're the second team from the Atlantic Division this year to clinch a playoff spot in the 2023 Stanley Cup playoffs. The other achievements that we have seen this year that we have seen set over the past few days is a couple of different players setting new career highs for themselves. And the first player is Leon Draisaitl, as he set a couple of milestones or new career highs over the past few days. And first off is that he set a new career high in points at 111 points and still in counting, as he has 114 right now. And last night he set a new career high in assists, as he now has 69. Right now, Leon Draisaitl has 46 goals, and he has 8 games left to play. And I say he will end up with 51 to finish the season and get his third 50-goal season of his career. The other player that set a new career high for himself is David Pastrnak, and he has been lights out for the Boston Bruins this year, leading that team in points, assists, and goals. And the other night, he ended up playing the Carolina Hurricanes, and in this game, it was one of the best nights, if not the best night of his career, because he ended up setting 3 milestones for himself. And those 3 milestones is, the first one is that he got 2 goals against the Hurricanes with it, and those goals were his 50th and 51st goal. And because of him reaching the 50-goal mark, he has now just got his first 50-goal season of his career. The second milestone he got was him getting 97 points on the season, and that's a new career high for himself. Now, with the 50 goals that David Pastrnak got, he is also now the second player outside of Connor McDavid this year to score 50 goals. Now, David Pastrnak's third and final milestone that he set was his 2 goals were his 600th and his 601st point. And because of him reaching the 600-point milestone, he is now the 5th player on the Boston Bruins to reach the 600-point mark. Now, out of David Pastrnak's incredible season, it has been a huge part of the success that the Boston Bruins have had this year, hence having a record of 57-11-5. And right now, these Bruins are on a 7-game win streak, and there's a very good chance that they can extend it to an 11-game streak over the next week with the next 4 teams that they have to play, because they have to play Nashville, Columbus, Pittsburgh, then St. Louis. And because of how historically great Boston has been this year, they are on average 27 wins better than all 4 of these teams, with Columbus being the largest margin at 34 more wins. But here's the thing, right now winning is at its hardest because both the women's and men's March Madness tournament are all in the Final Four now, and the Final Four matchups for the women's is that the number 3 LSU Tigers will be taking on the number 1 Virginia Tech Hokies at 7:30 p.m. Then the number 2 Iowa Hawkeyes will be taking on the number 1 South Carolina Gamecocks at 9:30 p.m. and they will both be playing this Friday on ESPN. As for the men's Final Four matchups, Florida Atlantic will be playing San Diego State at 6:09 p.m., while the Miami Hurricanes will be playing the Connecticut Huskies at 8:49 p.m., and both of these matchups will be on CBS. Now, on the second day of the Elite Eight for the women's matchup, we had a couple of blowouts, with the LSU Tigers beating the Miami Hurricanes 54-42, beating them by 12. Then the Iowa Hawkeyes beating the Louisville Cardinals 97-83 by 14 points. the game to watch was the Iowa Hawkeyes versus the Louisville Cardinals game, because the face of women's college basketball right now was on fire in this game, and she made history. And what she did is become the first player out of both the men's and women's March Madness tournament to ever notch a 40-point triple-double, and this is what she did. She scored 41 points on 58% shooting, and she made 8 threes on 57% shooting while getting 10 rebounds, getting 12 dimes, and stealing the ball 3 times. And the way that Caitlin Clark has been playing in this in college basketball for the women, it looks like that she is going to be the Steph Curry of the WNBA one day when that happens, because she has been nothing but dominant since she has played for Iowa. And the best part of Caitlin Clark's 40-point triple-double was the second half, because of how dominant they were over the Louisville Cardinals, because they just walked right through the Cardinals, destroying them. And here's what happened is because Caitlin Clark, with 19 points, 1 steal, 4 assists, and 7 rebounds later, Iowa ended up having a lead as large as 22, and then ended up beating the Cardinals by 14. And now the Iowa Hawkeyes are going on to beat the South Carolina Gamecocks, and these South Carolina Gamecocks are the beast to watch out for, because the South Carolina Gamecocks are looking to be the first team since the Connecticut Huskies to repeat as champions. And we know, and whoever watches the WNBA knows how crazy good the Connecticut Huskies were a decade ago, winning 4 straight March Madness tournaments from 2013 to 2016. As for the men's basketball tournament, the upsets are still happening in the Elite Eight, and it was almost a clean sweep in all 4 games. And the only team that survived the upset was the San Diego Aztecs, surviving the Creighton Blue Jays, beating them 57-56, thanks to their guy Damian Trammell winning the game for them on a free throw. Now, in the Final Four, 3 of the teams are actually going to be making a first-time appearance. The only team that won't be making a first-time appearance is the Connecticut Huskies, because the last time they were in the Final Four was in 2014. Now, of the 4 games that played, the 3 upsets that happened were FAU beat Kansas State, Connecticut beat Gonzaga, and Miami beat Texas. The biggest upset was easily Connecticut beating Gonzaga, and this game was embarrassing for Gonzaga, because Connecticut whooped them so badly, like you actually felt bad for Gonzaga, because Connecticut just completely walked through them, and Gonzaga's game just got worse and worse as the game went on. They were shockingly bad for how bad they played, because in that second half, this is where their game was at the worst, and was completely atrocious, because Connecticut had an 18-7 and a 27 run on them alone just in the second half, and whooped them 82-54. But of the 4 games that were played, the most exciting game to watch was the Miami Hurricanes against the Texas Longhorns. And this game started out with Miami and Texas hyping and running for the lead. And the only difference was Texas was able to hold Miami scoreless for a little bit, but Miami didn't let that faze them, especially in the second half, because the second half was the story of this game, because Texas started this half off hot, making 8 of their first 10 shots, and the score ended up being 64-51 at that moment, and Texas had a 13-point lead, and from there, Miami just went completely off going on a 38-17 run, scoring 51 points in that second half, and they ended up beating the Texas Longhorns 88-81. And because of how dominant the Miami Hurricanes were, and even for how dominant they were, there was actually some perfection in their game. And that perfection was Jordan Miller, because he was the game-leading scorer for the Hurricanes, scoring 27 points on 7 shots and getting 13 free throws out of it and not missing a single one. And now he is going on to the Final Four with Miami to face the Connecticut Huskies. All right, that's the end of the Calvin Tobin Show. Please subscribe to my channel at Calvin Tobin Show so you don't miss out on any sports news. And please follow me on Instagram at Calvin Tobin Show so you don't miss out on any sports media whatsoever. And I'm out.